Welcome once again back to the lab. It is your old Professor Pilk, and of course, as you saw in the title, we have another code in Scarlet and Violet. So this is awesome. They're going to continue support on Scarlet and Violet even though Legends EA is out, which is fantastic. Because I know Legends EA is not for everybody. Let's be completely fair. And this being a main generational game, it's got a ton of post-games still going on. In fact, there's a raid that kind of ended yesterday and is going to rerun this weekend. We haven't talked about it. We'll have a video coming out on that shortly. So if you haven't, make sure you guys subscribe to stay up to date. And also check out my other channel, Professor Pilk Collects, which is going to be in the description as always. And we're currently working on a Grand Master set of the Scarlet and Violet 151, which has been a phenomenal process. So make sure you check all that out. Let's go ahead and jump in. Now, as always, make sure that you hit the left bumper on your controller to make sure you're online. If you have not run the raid currently, it will be coming back on Thursday, so don't worry about that too much. The code does, unfortunately, time out on November 30th, so you do only have a few days to collect this. It has been out for a couple of days, and I do apologize for only now covering it. But let's go ahead and go over to the Poke Portal, go down to Mystery Gift, and go to Get with Code Password, and your password is going to be... It is a doozy. It's LA1C26 Tailwind with a 1 instead of an I and all those things. As always, it'll be up top. You can just take a moment, pause the video, and collect it there. But let's go ahead and acquire this. There we go. Frederico's Whimsicott. Now, this is not a shiny Whimsicott. It's just a regular old Whimsicott, but it does come with a covert cloak. And once again, it's going to come in a Cherish Ball. For people that collect those types of things, this is going to be a phenomenal pickup. And it's a free Pokemon, you know? Can't be mad about a free Pokemon. So there you guys go. Now, we do have a few other codes that are still live. I will have those up here in just a moment. But before we do so, I want to mention our sponsor, which is, of course, Root Brands. Now, if you guys didn't know, I've been looking for a coffee sponsor for a really long time. And Rom Roast by Root has been just my absolute go-to for quite a bit of time. I also really like their energy supplement called Zero In. But right now, they are running a special for Black Friday. And I got to pull up the email to make sure I do this right. They have their Clean Spirits line, which is a liver detox. They've got the Ella Pure skincare products and the Merci Dupree clothing line. I probably butchered that, and I apologize. All of which are 20% off. And if you go with the link down below, use code GAA15. That stands for Gaming Across America 15. GAA15 at checkout will save an additional 15% off. And they have more sales coming up this week. I just can't disclose everything quite yet. Check out Root Brands with the link down below. Support the people that support us. Let's get into the rest of those codes, shall we? V Tracksuit with basically a 1 instead of an I, because these are all kind of elite speak, so to speak. I appreciate that they did that, because sometimes differentiating between the 1s and the I's can get really weird. Now, this one's for Violet. We do have one for Scarlet as well, so stay tuned. We're going to do that real quick. There we go. Bam. We got our tracksuit, and we can go ahead and change into that, whenever we feel like it's necessary. So let's go ahead and grab the one for Scarlet real quick. And then, of course, for Scarlet, it is going to be S tracksuit with a 1 instead of the T. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Always have them at the top, so you can pick them out pretty easily. Let's go ahead and grab that real quick. Now, I do want to mention there are several other codes incoming here. All of these are older codes. If you've already claimed them, you've already claimed them. If you haven't, it's a great opportunity to grab some stuff, especially for those of you that only recently got into the game or maybe aren't adopting the new game quite so readily. So, nothing wrong with that. The Legends games are definitely not for everyone. Real simple, it's V book cover. Now, do note you won't be able to use O. You got to use 0 instead of O, but once you do that, input that data, and that is going to drop for you a new Rotom cover. If you're on Violet, like I am right now, it's going to give you the purple cover. If you're on Scarlet, well, we'll do that in a minute, but the S book cover will give you the Scarlet book cover. These are not, or I say Rotom cover. These are not super important gifts, and unfortunately, as somebody asked the other day, we don't currently have any gifts that are actual Pokemon, sadly. I'm hoping we get that fixed here soon. We got our Violet case. Let's go ahead and grab our Scarlet case real quick. Okay, so now we're back into Scarlet, so we're going to go ahead and open up. Once again, we want to make sure that we are online. And of course, as I said before, the code is S book cover. And once again, this is going to give you the Scarlet Rotom cover. So, once again, O's, 0s instead of O's. I do want to emphasize that, because if you try to put O's, well, number 1, the O's are grayed out. But number 2, obviously it ain't going to work. There we are. And it counts as a clothing gift, but we should go ahead and get our Scarlet cover now. And we can actually change our Rotom foam. So, not groundbreaking, not the most amazing, and unfortunately, we do just have. Well, I will say the Cosmic Stones and Element Stones are the picnic items are actually really good. Even the vitamins are really good. So, I'm not gonna downplay that. I just kind of think they could have done better with the current events. But nevertheless, guys, Rotom case for your Rotom phone. It is Neo. It's the Neo Katami Rotom phone case, and I don't actually think you have to have the DLC to acquire it. I don't know that for certain, but if you don't have the DLC and you try it, let me know in the comments down below by all accounts. But Neo Rotom cover, you already see the code up above, is the code that's going to pop the free phone case, and it's a pretty cool looking phone case. I personally am kind of fond of it. Paldea Picnic. Now the A's are replaced with 4s, and the 1s are replacing the I's, but pretty easy, pretty straightforward. You get sandwich ingredients. It's like 5 of a bunch of different ingredients, which are all really good for making sandwiches. You guys read the live stream last night. I've been doing personally a lot of shiny hunting and things like that. This is fantastic for that exact purpose. The code is real simple. It is Element Stones with an O or with a 0 instead of an O. Pretty easy stuff, pretty straightforward. Just type in Element Stones with a 0 instead of an O. Now, this is a really interesting gift because, if you have, like, evolutions or anything like that you're looking to get, I know for me, I'm always looking for, like, one stone or another. There are some stones where I have, like, 1,000 of, and some stones where I'm just completely dry on. So, this is going to give you a Fire Stone, a Thunder Stone, a Water Stone, a Leaf Stone, and an Ice Stone, so that's really handy. The next one is essentially the same thing. It's all the Cosmic Stones, so the code is Cosmic Stones, just with a 0 instead of an O. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward stuff. Not that hard to figure out. This one, another one that's, really good for evolutions and things like, obviously that's what the stones are for in general. But this is going to give you a Sunstone, a Moonstone, a Shiny Stone, a Dusk Stone, and a Dawn Stone. So, lots of evolutions up for grabs there. But nevertheless, those are all the stones up for grabs. Vitamins. And this one's pretty straightforward. It's just V1, TAM1, and S. And then the codes are always up above as well. And that's going to give you 2 of each. HP up, protein, iron, carbos, calcium, and zinc. And those are basically all the items that you can use to increase your stats. Most of you guys probably know how that works. You do need 26 of these to complete some, but 2 is better than none, I suppose, and they are fairly, that's 20,000 Pokedollars worth, actually each. That's right there for all 6. That's 120,000 Pokedollars worth. So jumping into something a little bit different, for those of you that don't know, there are gifts in Pokemon Home, specifically some shinies that you can't acquire otherwise. I've gotten a good chunk of them, not all, but we're going to talk about all of them right now. So to acquire the Shiny Meloetta, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go into the Pokemon Home app, either on your phone, tablet, whatever kind of device you're doing this on. It's not actually available on the Switch. You have to do it through here. So to do so, all you're going to do is go to the base page here. You're going to go into this little screen here and go to Mystery Gifts. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. And go to your gift box. Pokedex completion. There she is. So now that we're in here, we could just go into our newest 30. And she's right there. There she be. So this is the very first time that Meloetta has been available shiny. This is the very first time she's ever been available like this. Let's actually move her over to Scarlet and Violet and pull her into the game real quick. Okay, so we're back over in Scarlet and Violet, and there she is in all her glory. Now, I don't think I covered it before, but in order to acquire her, you have to catch every single Pokemon in all 3 dexes, both the regular Paldea Dex, the Blueberry Dex, and the Kitakami Dex. Once you've done that, then in Pokemon Home, you can actually go and she'll be available the same way I did her through the mystery gifts. Just like with Scarlet and Violet, there is a mystery gift code where if you go over here to your mystery gifts and you go to your gift box, if you have completed the decks in both BDSP, go in here, Grand Outcomes, brilliant! We're one step closer to fulfilling my dream of creating a Grand Pokedex. We've registered every single Pokemon in Sinnoh. Now, that's actually every single Pokemon in the Sinnoh exclusive decks. Obviously, this doesn't include the National Dex. You don't have to complete the National Dex to do this. Some hints and tips I will give you guys, especially for those of you that have been playing Scarlet and Violet with us. You have a really unique opportunity to get these Pokemon really, really quickly, really easily, and very simply. Most of those Pokemon, not all, but most, can actually be evolved through Scarlet and Violet. So let's go here to the gift box real quick, and we'll jump over to BDSP and talk about this. Now, we do have a few other gifts that I've not completed. I'm working on the Galar Dex right now. We'll talk about that here soon enough. But there's our shiny Manaphy, and you can spawn a shiny Fione from this shiny Manaphy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and do this Compote du Fils, which I'm sure I butchered the heck out of that. So let's go right outside of town here. When it says South Providence, we'll go ahead and get off Miraidon, and then we can set up a picnic. Personally, I found that when they're in a happier state, they do produce more eggs, but all you got to do is sit here with your egg power 2 for a minute, and then come over to the box. You'll probably find, yeah, there's a Pokemon egg inside. Yeah, let's grab that. Let's go ahead and hatch this egg. I don't think this will be a shiny, but they do have shiny rates. They're the same rates as every other Pokemon. They're not exceptionally rare, but there's a Fione. And predictably, it is not a shiny. And then if you've completed the Dex in Legends Arceus, you'll actually have the ability to get a shiny Enamorus. This is the first time these have been available. These codes do not have a time limit on them, apparently. Okay, so in order to do this, you have to do this through the Pokemon Home mobile app. But when you go up here to games, for Enamorus, it was the Hisuian Dex. And once you open it up, the very first time after you transfer all of those Mon, he'll say, brilliant, or one step closer to fulfilling your Dex. Once you've registered every single Pokemon in the Hisuian region, you were most certainly the right one entrusted with this monumental task. So, basically, he's going to come out and he's going to give you a gift. And it is, there she is, Shiny Enamorus. So if you have Pokemon Go, the very first time that you transfer a Mon into Pokemon Home, you have the ability to acquire Melmetal. Let's go ahead and grab him. Now, I did a video a little bit earlier where I actually used this Pokemon in Sword and Shield, because the real interesting part is this one could actually get Gigantamax, and I actually fought Leon with it. It was super fun. Not the easiest fight because he is weak to all of his Mon, but it was a lot of fun, and I had a blast. And he's a level 100. So let's check this out. Go into your gift box here. You do have to do this through the mobile app, just like all the rest. But once you've done the first Pokemon Home transfer, it'll be available there. Gift for Pokemon Go linking. Really easy, really straightforward. And if you want to see the actual battle, link will be in the description down below. But that's all the gift codes, at least that I've acquired at this point. When we get the rest of them, I'll cover them here on the channel. So make sure you guys subscribe to stay up to date, like the video, and I'll be back with more soon.